Hi everyone, Michael Harvey, storyteller here. This is going to be a trip down memory lane. Those of you who can remember Dave Allan will recognize his face. You know what you're in for. It's going to be some slightly retrograde 1970s comedy, but the reason I want to show you this is that because he's playing over the top when he tells this story, this alleged joke that he's about to tell, he also allows us to see the modes that he's using and the gaze that he's using in a way that's super clear because he's being a bit over the top. So yeah, let's have a listen.
A part of the Irish folklore is leprechauns, little people. And we believe that if you can catch a leprechaun, and they're very sneaky, if you can catch one, he's got to give you the crock of gold. There's a fellow walking down the lane.
So there we are. He's got the setup. He's made it very clear. He's introduced it. And then liminally, he just says, and this fellow's walking down the lane. So we know that we're in the story at that moment. The difference between introduction and action is super clear, even though he's being really liminal with it.
And sitting on a fence is a leprechaun with his back to him. And he runs up and he catches him by the leg and he says, "Gah! I've got you!"
So he does the setup, and then the action that he does is super embodied. It's way over the top. And he maintains that level of energy, which is great for us to see the difference, particularly when he drops it. Anyway, let's have a look.
"Give us your crock of gold." And they're very sneaky. They wanted to get the head turned around. And if you...
So he's going from character gaze, using dialogue, into giving information. And at the same time, if you noticed, his hand is still holding on to the leprechaun. So you've got all these things going on at once, but we still read it clearly as a story.
Blink, they'll disappear. And the leprechaun says, "Ah, look at..."
Now he's back into the dialogue. And look at his gaze. He's taking on character gaze. He's looking at the scene through the eyes of the character as the character speaks.
"Look at that lovely tree up there in the sky." The fella said, "I'm not taking my eyes off you."
Very quick switch back.
And the leprechaun says, "Look at that elephant flying." He said, "I'm not taking my eyes off you."
Did you see the way he switched his eye? Just his eyes moved when he changed character gaze there. And we read it, so we knew who was talking.
"You've got to give me the crock of gold." And the leprechaun said, "I'm not one of them leprechauns. I'm not a crock of gold leprechaun. I am a 3-wish leprechaun. I'll give you 3 wishes. But remember, in these 3 wishes I give you, anything I give you in those 3 wishes, I've got to give twice as much to the man that you hate most in your life, who I happen to know is Tom O'Flaherty."
So he's putting lots of information into the dialogue in order to work towards the punchline. Now, one important point I want to make about all these things that I'm talking about, the modes and the gazes and all the rest, is that here I'm helping you become conscious of them. The truth is, we all have these abilities. And when we tell stories socially, we use these things like these tools, these storytelling tools, the gaze and modes automatically without thinking it. However, when we show up as our professional selves, we owe it to ourselves and the people in the room to have done some conscious work on it in order for us to tell with authenticity and conviction.
And to tell. And the fella says, "Right, I'll have the 3 wishes. And he can have twice as much as I can have." He says, "Right, what's your first wish?" He said, "I would like a lovely 12-roomed house."
So here we have lots of swapping between gazes, between different character gazes, and some big embodiment.
There it is, 12-roomed house. And then right beside it, a 24-roomed house. With old Flaherty standing up in the balcony saying, "God love you, boy. I didn't even think you liked me. God love you for that. Thank you." And the leprechaun says, "What do you want for your second wish?" He said, "I want 10 of the most beautiful girls in the world." There they are. Next door.
Yeah, it was the 70s.
20. And old Flaherty saying, "Oh, God love you. 20 of the most beautiful girls in the world for me." And the leprechaun says, "What do you want for your third and last wish?" And the fellow said, I want me desire for women cut by 50%.
And there's the punchline. Now, we're not interested in punchlines. We're interested in making some kind of change and helping people see the world in a different way and getting people to be part of a certain change that we are trying to initiate. That's our punchline. But we're going to be using the same tools. We're going to be using gaze. We're going to be using the different modes. And if you have a look around my YouTube channel, you'll find exactly what those are. I don't want to go into it now. You're probably overloaded already. But yeah, it's very interesting. If you want to watch old style comedians in particular, they really use things like modes and gaze in very, very effective ways. Okay, so that'll be a bit of fun YouTube research for you. Okay, take care. All the best.